In this video, we'll be looking at your site's widget control panel and how you can use it to add, edit, delete, and generally manage your site's widgets. As a quick reminder before we start, widgets are the content blocks that make up the body of your homepage. And these widgets can be comprised of different categories, such as news or entertainment or features, or they can display other content such as a poll or a list of sports scores, an embedded playlist, etc. So to get to that widget control panel, you'll want to hover over your Snow Dashboard tab and click on the third dropdown for the widget control panel. Once you are there, on the right side, you are going to see all of your different available widget areas where you can place and display widgets on your site. And these are going to correspond to the widget areas that you've set up in your site's design options via the Site Designer tab. If you need more information on how to set up and customize these widget areas before you display widgets in them here in the widget control panel, you can check out the previous video that is linked in this support article, and that'll walk you through how you can set up those widget areas. But again, on the right here, I am seeing all of my different available widget areas. And if I click on each area, it is going to expand and show me the different widgets in that particular area. On the left, you're going to see all of your available types of widgets that you can use on your site. And as I mentioned, some of these are very category specific widgets, such as the Snow Story Carousel or the Snow Story List. And others are more specific, things like the snow advertisement widget to display advertisements, or the snow embed code widget to embed something in a widget. So to kind of see a complete list of these widgets and what each one does, you can check out that list that is below this video in the support article. And I think it's also helpful to note in this list on the left that the widgets that you will probably use the most on your site are kind of near the top of the list. And then as you scroll down, the widgets that you maybe won't use quite as frequently are kind of near the bottom here. To place a new widget on your site, it is a three-step process. The first thing I'll want to do is choose which widget area here on the right I want to display that widget in. So let's say I'm going to add a new widget to my home top full width area. Then on the left, I want to decide which widget I want to use. In this case, I am going to use the Snow Story List widget. And then lastly, I want to click and drag that widget into the space where I'd like it. And this entire interface is click and drag. So if you want to rearrange or remove widgets, you will click and drag to do that. So I'm going to drag that widget into that area. And as soon as I drop that widget, all of my different options for setting it up and for editing it are going to appear. And these options are really going to vary depending on the type of widget or widgets that you're using. In this case, I am using the Snow Story List widget, which is a very category specific widget. And so you'll see the first thing here that I'm going to be prompted to do is select a category that I'd like displayed. So I'm going to do recent stories here. I also see some other options in this category specific widget, things like number of stories I'd like to display, how large I'd like the headline to be. I can choose to show things like the teaser, the byline, the date. I can choose how many columns I'd like those stories displayed in, choose the text area background color. So just lots of things that you can customize here. And again, this is going to vary depending on the type of widget that you're adding. Lastly, here on the right, I can choose the widget style, which is going to kind of control the appearance of things like the title bar and the background color and the border behind the widget. Once I have set up a widget how I want, I'm going to save it here in the corner. And now if we refresh my homepage, I should see that new Snow Story List widget appearing here at the top. And it has all of those design specifications that I selected. So it's got 3 stories and 3 columns. I can see the widget style there, etc. So let's add one more widget just for demonstration here. So that was a category specific widget. As I mentioned, some of these other widgets are for other types of content. So let's say that I wanted to embed a Spotify playlist that my staff created on my homepage. To do that, I'm going to choose the area I'd like to place that widget. I'm going to put it in my home top left area here, right below my poll that I have. I'm going to choose the appropriate widget. In this case, it is the snow embed code widget. And then I'm going to just click and drag that widget into that location. And for this particular widget, again, your options you see are going to vary depending on the type of widget you select. For this widget, I would need to go out and grab that embed code for whatever I want to embed. In this case, I'm going to embed a Spotify playlist. So I will paste that embed code in there. And now if we save and refresh my homepage, I should see that Spotify playlist in that home top left widget area. So that is the process of adding new widgets to your site. The other thing that you might want to do is move widgets around or rearrange where those widgets are located. And to do that, you're just going to click and drag that widget that you'd like to move into the new area where you'd like it located. So for instance, maybe I want that podcast to be more in the middle area of my site. I can grab that widget, drag it into a different area. And now if we refresh my home page, I will see that updated location for my podcast. Lastly, if you want to remove or delete a widget from your site, you have a couple different options to do that. The first option would be to grab that widget and click and drag it off to the left. Now, if I drop that widget here, it is going to completely remove it or delete it from my site, and I would have to recreate that widget from scratch if I wanted to add it back. The other option to remove a widget from your homepage is to utilize what's called your widget storage area, and that is an area that will show up over here on the right. If I drag a widget into storage, that widget is going to retain all of those design options that I've selected. So if I wanted to go add it back to my homepage at a later time, I could do that. So again, a couple different ways. You can either click and drag off to the left to completely delete a widget, or you can utilize that widget storage area. A few other things to note as you explore adding and managing your widgets in this widget control panel. By default, certain widgets are going to display the title above the widget, and this is especially true for category-based widgets. So if I add, let's say, a snow story list widget again, I'm going to see that widget title here up at the top. And especially for category-based widgets, this is going to default to the category that you select. So for instance, if I select the entertainment category, I'm going to see that widget title that will display is going to update there according to the category that I select. And so if we take a look at that widget on my home page here, again, I can see there is the title. If I want to change the title though, I can do that here. So maybe instead of entertainment, I want it to say A&E. I can update that title. And now if we refresh, I see that updated title above the widget there. Another thing about widget titles is that certain widgets by default will hide the title. So for instance, if I add a snow story grid widget, you'll see this box here to the right, and it is selected to hide the widget title and the widget style for this particular widget. So what that would look like if we take a look at this grid is that there is no title up at the top. It is just the widget itself and the contents of the widget. If you'd like to display that title on a widget where it's hidden, you can just deselect that box, choose the style that you would like there. And now if we take another look, I will see that that widget has a title up above it. Another thing to note about widgets is For certain widgets, you will notice this little blue box at the top to show advanced design options. Now, you can create a really professional, good-looking widget without toggling on those advanced design options. However, if you choose to show the advanced design options, you'll see even more things that you can customize and control here. So for instance, if I was setting up this snow story list widget and I wanted to have a view all link, or maybe some dividing lines between my stories, or maybe I want more control over the text size, I can show advanced design options, and I will see some different things in here like that view all link or adding dividing lines that I can now customize in this widget. There are also a few other widget areas that you'll see here off to the right that you did not set up or that you have not set up in the site designer, but that are still available to place and display widgets on your site. The first of those areas is the non-home sidebar, and this is going to be by default the widget area that gets displayed on your single sidebar template stories. You'll also see a secondary story sidebar area here, which is going to display on, again, by default, on any stories that are using the dual sidebars template. And to add widgets to those sidebar areas, it is the exact same process. I would select the widget that I want here from the left, click and drag it into those spaces, and then I can design it however I want to. In addition, if you have the Snow Site Booster, you will see a widget area here labeled Sports Center Sidebar, and that's going to control the sidebar on your scores and schedules or your Sports Center page. The other widgets that you might see here that I don't have on my on this particular demo site, if you have a mobile phone homepage activated on your site, you will see a mobile phone homepage widget area here. And then if you've created any custom sidebars or any custom widget-based pages, you will see those widget areas off here to the right as well. So in summary, that has been an overview of how you can use this widget control panel to add and manage your site's widgets or blocks of content. And if you'd like a specific breakdown of all of these different types of widgets and what they do, you can be sure to check out the list that's included at the bottom of this support article. In addition, if you would like a more detailed walkthrough on some of the most commonly used category-based widgets, including the carousel, the grid, the snow story list, and the parallax, you can check out the linked support resource below for a video walkthrough on those category-specific widgets. As always, if you have any questions about widgets or anything else on your site, please feel free to reach out with Snow Support with those questions.